We tend to view iconic cartoon characters as permanent fixtures of our cultural DNA, as if they have simply always existed. But every one of these icons traces back to a specific day and a single drop of ink. In the 1910s, the landscape of animation was entirely silent. Early creations like Felix the Cat, born in 1919, relied strictly on exaggerated body language and physical gags to communicate with an audience. That dynamic shifted in 1928. Animators realized that if they linked those physical gags together with a consistent temperament, a drawing could project a continuous personality. Walt Disney began assigning figures like Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck distinct flaws, internal motivations, and consistent charm. Audiences began buying tickets specifically to see these drawn figures. Cartoons had transformed into a commercial engine capable of launching bankable movie stars. By the 1940s, the industry moved past that initial simple charm. Rival studios began experimenting with a chaotic, irreverent style of comedy. At Warner Brothers, creators like Chuck Jones and Tex Avery drove this aggressive philosophy. They sketched out fast-talking, sarcastic survivors like Bugs Bunny and highly volatile anti-heroes like Daffy Duck. But the sharpest visual design still needed an engine to drive it. To sell this rapid-fire comedy, the characters required highly distinct, synchronized voices. This is where the actors became co-authors. Performers like Mel Blanc provided the lisps, the stuttering, and the catchphrases that defined the character's identity as much as the ink did. Fusing sharp visual design with a signature vocal performance yielded a different result. These were three-dimensional personalities with recognizable psychological depth. As the 1950s progressed, the economics of entertainment moved out of the theater and into the living room television set. Delivering content for television meant producing hours of animation instead of 7-minute theatrical shorts. William Hanna and Joseph Barbera developed a way to scale that process. By standardizing character models and reusing background assets, their studio built a sprawling, interconnected television roster. Within a decade, they filled the airwaves with properties like Yogi Bear, The Flintstones, and Scooby-Doo. Meeting the schedule of weekly syndication required a factory-like workflow. Directors, storyboard artists, and painters collaborated in a structured pipeline to keep the episodes flowing. That relentless production schedule had a profound side effect. Because these characters were now broadcast straight into homes every afternoon, they transitioned from occasional theatrical events into daily cultural companions. In the 1980s, the strategy evolved again. Animation became linked to specific target demographics and physical merchandising. Physical retail shelves began carrying thousands of G.I. Joe, He-Man, and Transformers products, turning half-hour broadcasts into commercial ecosystems. This segmented market cleared a path for Japanese anime imports. Throughout the 80s and 90s, franchises like Dragon Ball, Pokémon, and Naruto established a permanent global footprint. Simultaneously, late-night television proved that cartoons could capture older audiences. Creator-driven properties like South Park, alongside hits like SpongeBob SquarePants, pushed the medium into irreverent new territories. The industry had fractured into specialized tiers. The medium proved it was versatile enough to serve any age group, any cultural background, and any commercial intent simultaneously. This chart plots the release dates of major cartoon franchises over time. We start with a handful of silent icons in 1919, and the data tracks an exponential curve upward through the 2000s, cataloging thousands of individual characters. That history was built by individual visionaries, writers and illustrators who sat at drawing boards to sketch out specific, singular ideas. Yet for any of these creations to survive across decades, they have to navigate a paradox. To endure long-term, a character must outgrow the person who originally held the pen. When the original creators and voice actors inevitably pass on, a meticulous passing of the mantle occurs. A new generation of writers, animators, and performers must step in to sustain the performance. The ink on the page doesn't keep a character alive. It is this continuous, unbroken chain of human stewardship and reinvention that allows a cartoon character to step off a temporary sketchpad and become an immortal cultural fixture.